Hi, I'm Raina Morgan with iHealthTube. I'm visiting with Robert Kowalski, the author of The Blood Pressure Cure. And we have some interesting things to talk about in terms of electrolyte balancing. We've got some veggies here on the table, and we've got some salt. Isn't salt a big thing with hypertension?
Here's where I'm going to fly right in the face of the typically heard advice. We've all heard this business of sodium and salt are the villains, that they're responsible for blood pressure elevations. Get rid of all the salt in your diet. Well, there's no question that we consume salt in great excess in our diet. But here's the reality. Most of that salt and sodium comes from processed foods. Canned vegetables, for example, a massive amount. We can cut back that sodium simply by pouring out the liquid that the beans came in, let's say, or whatever vegetable, and then pour in some water to do one rinse, pour that out, and then cook the vegetables or warm them up. You'll cut the sodium content of that canned vegetable by half.
By half,
Literally
all right.
half. And the better thing to do is go to the frozen vegetables rather than the canned. Better tasting and without the sodium. However, even with all of those kinds of things of getting rid of the sodium, cutting it back down, again, we do want to do that, but if you rely entirely on sodium restriction, you won't typically see much benefit in terms of blood pressure reduction.
Except a lot of sacrifice, but not...
A lot of sacrifice without much payoff whatsoever.
Okay.
And there are clinical studies after clinical studies showing this is the case. And doctors get very frustrated, but here's the reality. Sodium is one of two electrolytes in the body that are always in, that should be in balance. Sodium and potassium. The problem is we're getting more and more sodium and less potassium. Our caveman ancestors had exactly the reverse. They had to go out and look for sodium. They'd find these rocks, and just like the animals do today with the salt licks, to get some sodium into the diet, because their diet itself had very little. Now, yes, moderate the sodium, but increase the potassium with foods like bananas, oranges, potatoes, and especially the king of the lot, sweet potatoes. Easy to make. Pop it into the microwave, 6 to 8 minutes, slit it open, put in a little low-fat sour cream, mush it in, delicious. Marvelous side dish with no effort whatsoever. And here's the little real secret ingredient.
All right.
This is salt substitute. Don't use it at the table in place of a regular salt shaker. The salt shaker provides very little of the sodium in our diet, and yet that's where the real flavor comes from. Use this instead while you're cooking. Put a heaping teaspoon, which is going to be about 3,000 milligrams of potassium, into whatever you're cooking, a soup, a stew, even into water if you're making pasta. Every meal then becomes high in potassium, and we like to get the total up to about 4 grams, that's 4,000 milligrams of potassium a day, to balance out the sodium, because as we've got too much sodium, it signals the kidney to raise blood pressure.
All right.
But if we've got too little potassium, the same signal goes to the kidney to raise blood pressure. So cut back a bit on the sodium and the salt, increase the potassium.
So bananas are rich in potassium?
Oranges, ordinary potatoes.
Oh, that's right, an ordinary potato.
Ordinary potatoes. We hear all the bad-mouthing of the plain old white potato, but a baked potato with, again, a little sour cream on it, a little margarine if you like. Perfectly terrific. And the sweet potato, king of them all. And this is really important because in such a concentrated source, we can get a lot of potassium into the diet and thereby cut back on the sodium. And trust me on this, clinical studies have proven it to be true, your blood pressure will go down.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Bob.
My pleasure.